Hello, welcome everybody to our town hall. It is August 14th. If you're in the US right now, in EST, 8 o'clock. Thank you very much for being here nice and late. And then to all of our friends overseas, I know that I saw some Germans saying that this is like, I don't know, 4 a.m. their time. Thank you for being here as well. Uh, Aggie is back. Thank you so much for joining us, Ag.
That
We're
was crazy.
appreciative. That was
I
crazy.
really like it when I show up to start and it makes me invisible and can't hear me. Can everybody hear me now? Hopefully you guys. Anyways, good evening, Pretoria. It is absolutely a pleasure to be here with you this evening. It is August 14th, in the year 2023. It is 8 p.m. Eastern, and it's a pleasure to be here with everybody. I think I'm not positive about this, but my guess is that we're going to end up spending some time talking about land. That's my guess. I don't know. I don't know what else is going to be here or what else we're going to do, but I imagine some of this is going to come down to land. Uh, okay. So why don't we go hop into a team stand up and just let the people talk. I think we can go in this order: Cryptomancer, Weirdbeard, Gator, and Nate.
Hello, everybody. I'm Cryptomancer, a developer on the enhancements team, and I'm going to be talking about, you guessed it, land.
Weirdbeard.
I'm sorry. It was the next one there. I'm going to be talking about some of our upcoming updates, things that we have planned over the next couple of weeks, and a little bit more about what we're doing with land and all the goodies that come along with it. Plus, we do have some spicy brawls and tournaments things that we also get to cover.
Spicy.
Spicy.
All right, Gator.
Good evening. I will be talking about the release that is coming up tomorrow. Will it be land? We'll find out.
Tune in to learn more. And last but not least, Mr. Nate.
Yep, this is Nate, VP of Creative, and I will probably be talking about the Lord of Darkness and what he likes to eat.
This makes sense. Okay. Well, why don't we go start up with the release update, and let's go get Gator. Just me and Gator on a one-on-one here. And we're not rolling out land tomorrow. Are we rolling out anything tomorrow?
Yeah, we are doing a probably relatively small update tomorrow. There are a couple notable items. So the big upcoming item for tomorrow is that we will be accepting Genesis League Sports Governance Tokens, or GLX, and Genesis League Sports Stablecoin tokens, GLUSD, for credit purchases.
That seems like a reasonable thing for a business to do. So if you guys hold those tokens, you guys can go spend them at Splinterlands. At this point, there's some market activity that you guys can go participate in.
We have some fixes for rental cooldown checks that should fix any issues of users that have cooldowns on cards that they rented. We basically were able to simplify a whole bunch of checks down to, are you renting this card? If yes, then it doesn't have a cooldown on it. We also fixed the displays in the tech modernization version of the markets so that it should not show cooldown timers on cards up for rent, which it was incorrectly doing for a number of them. We took a pass through the ability tooltips and tried to make them more detailed and accurate rather than giving vague things like does more damage. It says how much more damage it does. And we are doing some preparation for land, and that we will be doing some database work basically to add some new columns and populate some fields so that we don't need to spend some time doing that when we're also doing the rest of the land rollout. That will probably be the longest part of the update. And we want to do that with people off the system because it may be very database intensive and cause some performance issues if we were trying to have people play the game while that was going on.
Is that going back to Inception, or how far back are we going to go add stuff?
Basically, we're updating all of the card records for current cards that have not been combined or burnt, which I think there's 50 something million.
Okay.
May take a little while to run.
It'll take a little bit. All right. Well, we can handle a little bit of known downtime, and it's better that that downtime happens today than like when we're also trying to pump out land. So uh, I don't know that anybody will appreciate it today, and I don't know that they'll appreciate it when land drops. But the fact that they are not experiencing a negative while waiting on land, I think that'll be good. Other updates? Anything else that we're doing this week, Gator?
Not too much for other changes. There's some minor performance improvements for pulling recent transaction history. We cleaned up some of the text on the license store page. We also, while we were in there updating the tooltips, we went ahead and pushed those out to the mobile app, which is already out there. While we were working on the mobile app, we went ahead and added Rift Watcher packs, so you can open them on the mobile apps now, and fixed a couple minor issues. It still said that you were contributing DEC for guilds, so we replaced that with guild power, and fixed some issues with checking only the wild leagues for some things where modern may also apply. So if you are a user of the app, well, it is still fairly out of date in many respects. We did fix a couple of specific easy issues while we were in there.
All right.
And that's pretty much all that's happening right now. Couple other things. We are aware that there are some issues where people are getting a weird, you've already submitted this battle when submitting brawls. So we're going to try to look at that probably for next week if we figure out what's causing that. And we may be reviewing some of the changes to abilities that happened recently. Notably that Dispel is slightly more overpowered now than perhaps it is intended to be. So we may walk back some of its abilities that were added when it got started getting triggered before the attack damage went through. So those are some things that'll probably be coming up. Not quite enough for tomorrow, but maybe in the next week or two.
All right, rock on. Thanks, Gator, for the update, and I don't know, just looking forward to the release notes and a smooth release tomorrow. So thanks for getting that put together. Next up, I think we're going to go talk with Mancer. So thank you to Gator, and let's go get Mancer out here.
Howdy, folks.
Good to see you again on the Splinterlands Town Hall. Happy to have you here. You've been working on a variety of things. What do you think that you would like to talk about this evening?
Well, land, of course. So there's been a lot going on with land. First of all, I'd just like to say I've been traveling the last few weeks. I'm coming to you today from a tiny mountain town called Kundasang in the eastern Malaysian province of Sabah. So a bit of a shout out to any of our Malaysian players, especially those from Sabah. It's a beautiful country. We've really been enjoying the scenery here. And I will say the internet connection here is not the greatest, so I do apologize if I randomly drop out in the middle of things, but hopefully it'll stay good until the end of the town hall. And the reason my family comes out here every so often, we usually visit about once a year or so, is we have some real life land here that we manage as an investment. And it's a bit of an open question these days, whether that real life land will be as profitable as my Splinterlands land. So we got the virtual land going on. And I'm sure you all would love to hear what's going on with that Splinterlands land.
Well, I think the general update can come from Weirdbeard as he kind of keeps us up on tabs with what everybody's doing. I guess while you're traveling, you've actually done some of the work on land and some of the review. What have you been working on, or like what parts of the code base have you touched? And how do you think that's gone so far?
All right, so my own small piece of land has been doing some of the PP calculations, and we each have our own parts. So since roughly mid-July or so, almost the entire enhancements team has been all hands on deck, helping to push land over the finish line. So PP has been my part. Farpatrad has been mainly working on the back end for worksite management and resource harvesting. Hardpoint did a lot of the card staking and item staking systems, and he's also working on one of the most intricate screens right now for assigning workers to slots on your land. Everyone's got their own part, and we've been coordinating together to make sure all of these pieces come together and work out properly. They're all little pieces of the jigsaw puzzle,
And that's not trivial, right? So you started here in like 2019, right? Like it almost not quite the beginning, but pretty damn early, right?
Yes. I was one of the original devs, so I've seen the company grow a lot over time.
So you coded up, you've worked on the battle system forever, but also the tournament system and the brawl system are both your babies, more or less, right? Like a lot of the code that's written there, that was your doing, correct?
Yes, that's right. I was kind of single-handedly the guy that coded all those systems.
So
and land is a lot different.
Yeah, that's what I'm going after. So can you compare sort of the size of either the guilds or the tournaments, or like give us some kind of scaling? We like fish scaling, talking about shrimp and dolphins and minnows and whales, just some kind of like, maybe it's architectural where you're like, this is a Colosseum in Rome and this is like a dirt hole in your backyard. Like, I don't know, but how would you classify the size of these different projects?
So if we're talking about fish in the ocean, I'd say the anytime tournament system or the brawl system, for example, would have been dolphins. They were very good sized projects and took a long time to implement, but that was with one person, myself, working on it. Land is like a blue whale by comparison. It is far larger. There's no way a single developer could do land all by himself. Instead, we have an entire team of people working on land. In fact, I think this is the most devs that we've ever had working on one project simultaneously before. So there have been a lot of learning experiences trying to figure out how to coordinate so many people together on a single project.
I mean, at a high level, to me, it sounds like this is a simple project, right? You take some monsters, you put them on land, and you get grain, SPS, and research. That doesn't sound too bad if I put that in a sentence. But what's the kind of stuff that makes that challenging and like a big project, and why do you think it's such a massive project?
Well, that kind of statement is like the tip of the iceberg. That's like the little bit that you see poking above the water. And as they say, the devil is in the details. So you don't see all the stuff that sits underneath the water, the bulk of the iceberg underneath. There are so many little details with land. Like you say, oh, okay, I got to assign some cards to my plot. But then you start going into, okay, does the order that I assign cards matter in what happens when my production points go above a certain limit? How do the bonuses factor in? Are there different circumstances that affect how those bonuses are applied? And yada, yada, yada. It just goes on and on. You tease out one detail, and that leads to a whole bunch of other details. And you have to make sure that all of those details are coded correctly and working correctly together.
So that most of what you've just described is back end stuff. What about on the front end? So like if I guess I've heard devs share there's an awful lot of screens in land. So if we were to go compare like a guild brawl versus like the amount of screens that are in land, are they comparable? Is that also something that's much larger than what it happened in anytime tournaments or the guild brawl system?
Land has many more screens than any other area of the game, and that certainly contributed to the complexity. You have not only the main overview screens for managing all your stuff, you also have little, I would call them child screens, that relate to the main screens. Little things like transferring resources around or checking on the production for a certain plot, buying grain, buying time crystals, all that sort of stuff. There's a lot that goes into it.
I guess, you know, a lot of the game economy is now related to land, and the sort of production elements and taking cards out and the staking DEC. You know, can you talk about testing and hardening for this, and like what do we do to make sure that this is a secure experience for the players? Funds are safe.
Sure.
Safu.
Well, since I've been traveling, I haven't been able to code very much. So I'm helping out mainly in a support kind of an auxiliary role in doing a lot with the testing, and I'm trying to make sure that no bugs slip through the cracks and that we can have everything as polished as possible. So we have it up for testing right now in an internal testing environment, not available to the public yet, but we have been doing internal testing simultaneously with finishing the last bits of a back-end and front-end coding. So what that's like, there's pretty much a new build available internally every day. So every day I go into our internal QA and I try out all the screens. I push all the buttons. I try to use some plots. I try to build some work sites and stake some cards. And I just see, is everything working or not? And oftentimes I run into issues where something is not working. So when I do, I create a Jira ticket, which is kind of our system for managing units of work and what we have to do to make sure everything's finished. And I know that land will be ready for launch when I stop making tickets and when all of the bug tickets that we have outstanding get resolved. So we can see how close we're getting by how many tickets are outstanding and the rate at which they get knocked down by the devs.
Yeah, and also some of that, you know, we got to get code complete, right? So we thought that we would be code complete at the over this weekend. It looks tentatively like it'll be soon. I'll let Weirdbeard kind of put words in there, but I'll just use soon. But you know, we should be code complete imminently, and then that really helps with like the bugs, because you know, every time that you introduce new code, you introduce new opportunities for bugs. And if you know, we stop kind of building new things for land and we start putting in, you know, just the fixes for things that don't quite work exactly as intended, and sometimes it's not even that they're like broken, it's just that like the placement of a button is wrong, or you know, how the site functions isn't technically incorrect, but it might be unintuitive. So there's like little tweaks that we have to do. I guess there are actual bugs that we have to squash, but all that, you know, the number of things that we find is hopefully going down and down. We've hit this project with a number of internal testing swarms, where like the entire company or good portions of it stop and just test this stuff and see what we find. I know that when the devs get out a new build, I like stop what I'm doing and then I go through and I try to find, does this work the way you know, usually you don't do heavy testing of incomplete code. That's not like a standard operating. You sort of like do it in stages. You get to the end and you test everything. That is not what we've been doing. We've been testing all along the way. So it's kind of funky to me that like really good chunks of this product have already been QA tested and, maybe we introduce a new bug or something that breaks it, but at least the intended functionality is there and working as intended. So, like, one of the most uncertain parts of all of this is really just like the bug testing, because you don't know what you don't know. And fortunately for us, even though we can't test every single piece of this, we've been testing lots of the pieces along the way. So, yeah, there's bugs, but the nice thing about those bugs is that every single one of them is something that we've identified something that we didn't like, gotten some feedback, had the devs go and tweak it. And so that by the time that we get to the final launch, hopefully that's not a thing that we're trying to address in the last week. It's stuff that we've been addressing over the last month or month and a half. Do you think that story is true, or do you think that, hey, all the testing that we've done has been completely inconsequential?
Yeah, I think you really hit the nail on the head there. It's certainly a bit challenging trying to both code and test at the same time, but it really has made us realize that the overall architecture of the system is sound and in place. So we have confidence that at a high level, the flow is what we want and things are more or less working. So the big pieces are in place, and now it's more kind of we're wiring things together. There's a lot of players stuff that's coming from the back end. So we have lots of all screens done, so we can see the user screens and test that out, even without all of the final data being loaded into the screens. So it's been useful to have confidence that yes, we designed this the right way.
It seems like we may have lost Mancer.
To go back.
Well, we'll take that as a sign from the universe that we have gotten all the update from Mancer that we're going to get tonight. Hopefully he's well. It looks like the screen might be a little. Oh, all right, never mind. We're good. Mancer.
There is just one more thing that I want to say just about the Mavs QA testing. So I think everyone has been really eagerly anticipating Mavs QA, and we've been working as hard as we can to get it ready for you guys to look at. I know a lot of the devs were working through the weekend, really pushing the pedal to the metal. The team has been very dedicated to that. But we want to squash the bugs that we know about before we open it up to public testing. Because we could throw it into Mavs QA right now and let you guys see, but it wouldn't be very useful to do that, because the feedback we would get from you guys would be about everything that we already know needs to be fixed. So at best, that would just be a little noisy, and at worst, it might actually slow us down trying to parse through all that. So we want to squash the bugs that we're finding in internal testing and have confidence that everything is fully working and all the data is on the screen showing properly. And once we reach that point, then we can open it up to public testing. So we hope that point will be coming soon. I wouldn't want to put a firm date on it, but we're getting there. So please be patient with us just a little bit longer.
Yep. All right, Mancer. Well, thanks for coming on. Thanks for working on this. Thanks for reviewing the things. I think it's time to go bring Weirdbeard on and just sort of like put some of this into a broader context of all the parts of land, not just the pieces that you're reviewing and working on. So let's bring on Weirdbeard and kind of, hopefully you can talk us through. I'm assuming that you want to talk about land, but good sir, what's on your brain today?
I don't want to talk about land. Do you want to talk about land?
Well, I do get sort of anxious about getting this out there. You use the phrase, we got to get the baby out.
Got to get the baby out.
I have 4 biological children. So like that phrase resonates with me of like, yeah, we gotta get this baby out. We as a company are pregnant with Praetoria, and we need to deliver Praetoria onto the world. So
that's gross.
You don't like that one?
No,
I thought
I
it was
don't.
poetic.
I don't want you to give birth over the world, but then what do I know? Land right now is a thing, and I feel kind of like at a loss for words for a lot of it, just because um it's full steam ahead, right? Like, this is not, oh, here we're sitting here twiddling our thumbs, wondering what we're gonna do with it. It's very much real and live, and internally the biggest thing that we have to do, that I've been stressing to everybody, is that once this goes out, that's the impression. That's the one time that we get people to be able to take a crack at it. And instantly, Splinterlands TV is going to have streamers on talking about it. We're going to have all of the content creators that make YouTube videos daily talking about it and showing it off. And so, like, we want to make sure that it's unveiled to the world in the correct right place. Um, I will say that we've had devs, especially Farp and Hardpoint, they've worked weekends the past 3 weeks in a row, 3 weeks at least, where they have not had weekends or anything like that. And we've been really gunning. And it's just like these QA bugs, they multiply. Uh Harry or Investigator put like a GIF in the Discord earlier where it was like solving your bugs, where you fix one thing and a different thing breaks, and then you're like, oh, here, let me go fix that other thing. And it makes a different thing break that you didn't even know was connected for whatever reason. And like, there's so many moving parts in this. You heard from Cryptomancer where, when we talk about brawls and tournaments or whatever it is, um it's sort of like in its own contained world. Whereas this is not only the play aspect of it, it's an economy aspect of it too. So you can't launch it and be like, hey, guess what? Time crystals just don't work, right? Like, that would be catastrophic to have to deal with. So we've been testing for 2 weeks now. I think we've had like 40 different items that have been in QA that you slowly have to like chew through, where we every single day get everybody together and go, okay, we're going to spend the next 40 minutes to an hour just staring at this one page, clicking on every single thing and saying, is this how it's supposed to go? Is this how it's supposed to go? Is this how it's supposed to go? And it's mind numbing, but it's the kind of stuff that you have to do to make sure that we're launching a product that, again, has been mainly, um not, I don't want to say mainly back end, because Nate would come on here and talk about how much stuff they have done on the front end, because they've made all kinds of beautiful screens for it. But it's really been laying the groundwork for 1.6 and 2.0 and 75.3, whatever the numbering schema is. Because we've had to make sure that we get the economy and how, like, stuff transfers and how stuff works, and make sure that, again, like I said, you have time crystals and you have grain and you have building in a box and you have these starter packages and power cores, and like, it's, again, you start digging into these layers and it turns into all these other different things. um yeah.
So, if I'm in my minivan going from here to some vacation spot, I'm going to have kids asking me over and over, how long will it take us to get there? And an easier answer to give is something like, well, we have 45 miles to go,
Yeah.
right? Like, I can't tell you the amount of time. I know how many miles I have to drive, but there could be accidents along the way. We could run out of gas. The infant could go, relieve himself in ways that are unhealthy for this thing. As famous saying, I might turn this car around. Get so fed up with all that. Um, I guess, can you give us a sense, maybe not of the timing of when we're good to go, because we'll be announcing things as we're ready, as we have those discussions. But like, can you give us any kind of scope of the remaining problems that we're trying to solve here?
Yeah, a lot of it is just getting the actual, because, like, land itself is on its own little island, and it's getting it to play nice with everything else, right? So you even have to take into consideration how this affects mobile, and how, so that you don't have cards that are staked on land that you can still go and play on mobile. Or you have to, what are some of the, we've run into all these weird edge cases of just like, hey, did we think about how to make sure that this doesn't, like, just explode on us? I would say a lot of the work is finishing the actual, like, all the staking stuff, putting a card up and having that go is totally fine. It is the grain, it's time crystals, and it's making sure that your workers are there and are locked on land, the main thing. And just making sure that it plays nice with the database. Because again, this is a lot of calls and like search functions. Think of it like again, a big water line where all the data is just being passed through a big like sewer tube almost. And this is going to be, I don't know, double the size of like what we normally see for battles, which is just insane. So we not only have to make sure it works, but we have to make sure that it doesn't cost $5 billion to Amazon to host all of these things to check and be like, oh yes, did this person's card actually get staked so they can actually play it? It's just again, it's weird items like that that um are no longer about, hey, how do we make this thing happen? It's more, how do we make this thing happen and not break what everybody else is sort of doing. I think I heard Cryptomancer mention this, but it's it's a blessing and a curse to have everybody at the same time sort of in this project because it gets a lot of stuff done, but it also means there's so many different people touching it at the same time that what this guy over here does may impact and break something that somebody else over here is doing. And that's never fun to deal with. So we're having to move fast and break things and then fix them quickly.
Yeah, and we haven't, like Manser has said before, often done a lot of projects where we'll have like, you know, one of the devs run off and do this on their own. This is one of the more collaborative projects that we've attempted to do. So I think that's a little new. Um, so we have three devs kind of putting what I'd consider the final touches on things,
Mhm.
right? So we have a little bit of the SPS mining pool and getting that reward pool finalized. We got like a little bit of work there.
And I might say part of it is also making sure that we find and try to like account for any exploits. This is an economy too. This is not just like, hey, we're gonna release a new card set. Oh, the card's broken. Okay, we'll do whatever. This is an economy with real world implications that you can't take back. So we have learned lessons from previous projects that we've done and make sure that we keep that in mind so that we don't just put something out that leaves egg on everybody's face.
So we have a little bit of the SPS reward calculation left to do. We have a little bit of like the PP calculation, kind of putting the final pieces on that, and then a touch of staking left.
Mhm.
Right. So is that the stuff that is not code complete? Did I miss any parts of that?
No, that's it. And again, I just want to say after seeing some of the comments in the Discord that like a lot of this is it's different than theory, right? Like it's practice where you can account for everything that we're doing already when we talk about timelines and what we hope to develop and when we want to do it. Getting in there and actually doing it is very different, especially when it comes to this QA testing where we want to do it one way and then you get in and start banging around, you go, oh wait, this isn't going to work. So like this isn't an exact science, it's much more of an art, and I apologize that I wish that we would be able to give like, hey, this is exactly how long it's going to take to be able to complete these 3 tasks, and it doesn't work like that, unfortunately.
And then I guess we also have bugs. Do you have a sense of roughly how many bugs we're still like? I guess we have the ones that aren't touched, the ones that are in progress, and the ones that are in QA. Do you have a sense of like how many bugs there are and how many people are working on them?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's working on not only finishing the stuff, but then doing the bugs at the same time. Even Investy's picking up bugs because he's a saint and wants to make sure that we're not drowning underneath everything that's going on. Um, everything that comes in, even getting down to like, oh, the tool tips are worded incorrectly and everything like that. So we have to go back. We got to go fix it. We got to do this. We have Mancia, who's one of our front end guys who was working on his birthday at last week. We had him in here cranking out stuff during his birthday where he eventually went out to a bar when we kicked him out. We're like, go have a drink, please. Go hang out. So I mean, how many? I could count like how many are in let's just do the fun exercise right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 bugs are still in QA that we're testing today and tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 major bugs have already been fixed and updated. In progress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in progress, and then a handful more that we came in over the weekend and today, and we're knocking out as well. So, I mean, it's going. Like there's bugs, but I wish I wish that this was a much more like, here is exactly how we do this in the timeline on it, and less like, I don't know. But I want to give an honest like guidance to the community so that they know that we're in here and doing it so that it's not busted when you get it. Because I feel like people would be way more pissed if we gave them a product over the weekend and they go, oh well, this doesn't work, you idiots. And it's like, well, yeah, sorry, our bad.
Do you want to give an example of one of the bugs? Like, is it redesigning the entire system, or is it like, I wish this icon was in cornflower blue? Is it, hey, this piece isn't wired correctly? Like, what's a good example? Like, if you had to pick a bug that you were like, this is representative of the kind of stuff that we do, what's that look like?
I mean, there's definitely some that are like cornflower blue type bugs. But those are, we're taking mission critical ones. These are ones, it's not necessarily about recoding or redoing how everything's done. But it is down to like I said, time crystals have been really tricky for us to be able to get and have it work properly for some reason. The other thing is that those PP calculations, because again, if those get messed up, they're exploits. It's not just like, oh, this is not working correctly. So that's another one that we're really having to make sure is we take our time on. And then the other one too is, and I hope that Nate will appreciate me bringing this up, of making sure that all this stuff is legible, not like that you can read it, but you understand what the hell is happening. This is a very complex, like intricate system that's not meant for somebody that just joins the game and then the next day they're jumping into land to try to figure things out. But what we have tried to do is make it so that this stuff you don't need an encyclopedia to understand it. And some of this stuff is, it does feel like, oh, the icon isn't exactly the correct thing, but that you can't be as dismissive when it's like, hey, players will not know what this means. Like, it does not tell you that you need to do this thing to make this thing happen. So some of the bugs in there are from getting non-devs to test and bang on it in QA, right? Like when you say there's everybody in the company working on this, we have like finance people, like people that have never touched a code base in their life, don't know nothing about nothing, are in there, and their feedback is super valuable too, because then we have to know, and they go, well, I don't get this. Okay, well, we need to maybe not make them the center of everything that we're doing, but if they don't get it and people who do understand what's going on don't get it, that means that there's definitely like a major disconnect that we have to solve.
Okay. So the next steps sound like, we have a couple dudes that have to complete a couple pieces of the code. This does not mean start. It means that they're nearly done and they have to kind of finish the last pieces of it. Then we need some internal testing to make sure that those things are working as intended. And it sounds like we have some bugs that we have to squash along the way. And that, I think, is the high level list of things that we need to do before we can put this on Mavs.
Yeah, and there's other cool things that we get to launch with. Farp told me today with the some of the extra time. Uh, we are going to be launching so that work sites will transfer with the deeds when sold. So you can sell everything when you sell off your plot of land. And then also switching work sites is going to cost 50 time crystals for instant completion, or 24 hours, no matter the rarity or status of the plot. So those are two new, never before revealed details that I get to share that we do have coming out with this release.
Yeah, because if you finish your work site and you want to switch, it's 24 hours that you got to wait. But if you don't want to wait, then time crystal away. Hopefully everybody appreciates that, because when you're dealing with time crystals, it's a burn. So one of the neatest parts of this, like, everybody wants a sync for DEC. How do we take DEC out?
He freezes right when he starts
because
talking.
there's no new faucets for DEC.
Oh, can they not hear him anymore? All right, well, hold. Yeah, you got DC'd again. You started talking about DEC sinks, and the system was just like, "No, bye. Don't care anymore." Oh,
All right.
they can only hear me. All right. Oh, now you're back.
Now they
Damn
should
it.
be able to hear me again.
Damn it.
Okay, so hold on. So look, the way that this thing works is that there's no new DEC getting printed. There's like a little bit with the leaderboard, but forget that. It's negligible. Which means that the only real way to get DEC is by burning cards or burning SPS. Well, the cards, it doesn't make any sense to burn because it's cheaper to go buy and burn SPS than kind of nuke your cards. That means that if you guys want to get the DEC that you need for all this stuff, you're going to buy and burn SPS. And so a big question is, how much DEC can we sync with this project? And there's all the power cores that you're going to need, and there's all the staking of DEC that you're going to need. But this whole time crystal element makes it so that we take time, and time is now an infinite sync for DEC. There is now like an infinite amount of DEC sync available because we use time. And I think that is an underrated part of this experience, that your impatience as a community, which I have experienced firsthand as quite large, is actually something that is going to provide value to the entire community. So hopefully you guys, as that literally sinks in, let that sink in.
Oh,
Yeah, let that, as you sort of ponder that one. As of the introduction of land, there is an infinite sink for land, and I think that's remarkable. And in my, it's sort of like thinking about, hey, if all the governments in the world are infinitely printing fiat, but there's only 21 million Bitcoin that's ever available, what's going to happen to the price of that? And I know it fluctuates and it goes up and down, but on a long enough timeline, I have faith that Bitcoin really only moves in one direction. And that's because you have a infinite problem and a finite, number of tokens. And there's some element of that now that we've introduced time that I get excited about as I think and ponder about these economics as I lay going to sleep and spend all my spare time thinking about. So, anyways, there's so many neat facets of this, and just playing around with time crystals in real time. I'm like on the test server, and I'm like, I'm not waiting a day for this thing to finalize. Just give me the stupid thing. And I spend my time crystals without thinking, and it's like a couple bucks here and a couple bucks there, and it's not massive amounts of money, but every single decision that I make like that on the real server is going to come at the consequence of SPS in existence, and for that I am excited. Okay, so I think we have talked about we've talked about the various parts of getting land out. Is there any final piece that you want to kind of describe about land, Weirdbeard?
I want to talk about something that's other than land. Anything other than land.
Okay. So Soul Keep is a thing, and I think
Yes.
we have brawls and tournaments as a thing. Is there
Yes.
anything else that we should put on the list of topics for tonight?
Yeah, we're starting to plan for the next age, and
Oh,
I have all kinds of things that I hope to God that I get to do.
okay. I wasn't prepared to talk about these things, but I'm
You didn't-
excited.
Oh,
Let's
we're not gonna go too in depth. Nate will send me a panicked message at 2 a.m. if we go too far off script. So we're gonna do just a
okay.
little.
All right.
tease.
So can we talk a little bit about Soul Keep? I think people have purchased a fair amount of Soul Keep cards. We just had a proposal that passed.
Thankfully,
You know,
yes.
there's things that are happening. Can we get an update or a description of where we're at?
Yes, the proposal did pass. That was one of the largest kind of blockers of getting Soul Keep out and into the wild. The next thing is that tomorrow we should be getting a code handoff from our third party partner in Double Coconut, which will allow us to do our due diligence of looking into the black box and seeing what's in there and making some of those final tweaks. One of the big things that we've really gotten feedback on that just like it's extended from when we've had the closed beta where players came in that purchased I think it was 100 packs, maybe 500 packs. Um, Feedback that they really gave on was that very first level was really hard, and that's been a sticking point for us, and one of the things that we are making sure before it goes out the door gets solved, because it's going to be miserable if players walk in and they get hit with that first level and they feel it's impossible. It's sort of the way that internally I talk about it is the same issue of when players would join Splinterlands and they would jump into bronze and they would just get decimated by bots, you know what I mean, who would run like near perfect teams every single time. People hated it, and it was like a nightmare for retention of players. And we really want to make sure that when this goes out, it's not just so that we can go, ta-da, it's out, here we go. We want the not only product to be up to standard, but we want it to be able to retain and grow new players, which is like the thing that I talk about all the time. I'm constantly always harping internally about wanting to grow who is in the Splinterlands and adjacent worlds and who are in here not only playing the games but taking part in stuff. So we have some of those small changes that have to be made before it goes out. But again, biggest blocker was that proposal that passed. Now we have things such as the new player onboarding, making sure that we integrate it into the actual Splinterlands game proper, so that it's not just like a little button that you hit. We want to make sure that it's tied into everything else that's going on. And I would say that the other thing too is we are wanting to make sure that our devs are knowledgeable about the code base. It is done in a language that's different from Splinterlands and GLS. So like this this is the thing that we have to know what's doing. So if something breaks, that we can go, this is how we fix it, as opposed to just hoping and guessing and fumbling around in the dark. That's the other thing that's concerned me about all of this. That when you work with a third party partner, no matter what third party partner it is, it could be your mom even doing coding for you, I guess. If you don't sit over their shoulder and know how every single thing is done, um, it's very risky to just put a new thing out there and not know how the pieces go together. So some of the time that is being spent is going to be spent getting our devs familiar with it, so that it's not just the other thing too is that we don't want to just have a single dev that's tasked with maintaining and updating and doing stuff with Soulkeep. We as a team need to know what's going on, and part of that has been one of the reasons that we've involved people like Cryptomancer on land. Prior to getting into land, Cryptomancer was like, I have no idea what it is, how it's being done, what it's being written in. And having him at least know how the inner workings are put together, even if he's not an expert, makes it so land's going to be a better product. And it's the same thing and same tack we're taking with Soul Keep stuff.
Okay, so that's Soul Keep.
Yeah.
We had brawls or tournaments. There's an update there
Yes.
that you want to describe.
Yes, I would gonna say that we are I don't know, before the end of the month, going to be putting out some messaging and updating possibly the way that we're going to be doing some of the brawl tier battles, the makeup of what you're going to be able to see. The biggest thing that we were holding off for was data around how many cards, like alpha cards or beta cards, are going to be available, because as of right now there's a lot of alpha battles or alpha brawls that are there that exist that I anticipate won't be able to be filled by even the biggest players come the release of land. So we're trying to tie that in at the same time. And that's a big thing for us to make sure that we not only touch on that for brawls, but also for tournaments as well. Because again, the alpha tournaments suck up a lot of our prize pool right now, and we already have pretty low participation in those. So splitting it up even more so that it's like, hey, here's a ton of prizing that goes to 10 people. isn't extra competitive is the word that I would say. So making sure that we identify, update those. We will be putting out messaging in the Brawl channel. You also can sign up in the notifications so that you give yourself the role of brawler, so you can be notified when that feedback does go live. I know people have been asking about that. I'm very excited to be able to get that done. The other thing that we are looking at for brawls and tournaments and whatnot is finalizing. We put this out quite a while ago. We're hoping to be able to nail it down by the end of the month. Is our tournament partners list, updating our list of partners that we're going to be able to allow to make tournaments. That does not include ghost card tournaments. Sorry to crush hopes and dreams of the people that beg me all the time for them, but we are going to make it so that we're opening it up so that more people are going to be able to create tournaments for without the DEC fee that's required for it.
So that's tournaments and brawls.
Yes.
And I think the final topic was rebellion. Did you?
No, I
No,
didn't
that's
say
not it?
no, 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 no. I'm talking about things that we're looking at while we're planning for the next age. And one of the big things that I'm hoping to be able to do is I don't know, a month ago, put out a honey-do list, essentially, quality of life updates, things that people were excited to see changed and taken care of inside of the game. We have done a lot of feedback listing on those, and we are going to put out another round of asking for people to be able to submit those bugs, since we are going to have a little bit of break here after land to really knock out some of the uglier ones, including game bugs, which is a big pet peeve of mine, a thing that we have. Is it Dispel that works funky, Investi? I think it's Dispel or yeah, it's Dispel. Like there's a whole bunch of like weird edge case game bugs that we're looking to be able to take care of. And so we're going to be asking for players to submit wonky battles and be able to knock those out when we have the chance. Since again, we're planning for what's going to be coming up here in the next couple of, I don't know, what is it, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, or whatever it is. So through November, along with some unannounced projects that I personally am very excited about. Hopefully, being able to look at new player entrance, making it easier for new players to onboard and really just know what's going on around here.
Okay. That sounds like a pretty full update. Anything else you want to add?
Thank you. I'm sorry that we didn't get it out this past weekend. You can DM me on Discord if you're actually very angry about it, but I promise you it's just because we want to do the best that we can. Um, we have a team full of humans who have worked weekends and weekends and weekends, and I'm somebody who cares more about having FARP and Hardpoint still working here in another year and not burnt out. More than anything else. You can yell at me. I'm like a middle manager type guy, but those guys in there doing the hard work are the ones that deserve all the claps on the back, and they're working as hard as they can for you guys. And I hope that any criticism that you do have is directed to people like me and not to those who are busting their butts to make the dream come true.
Um, yeah, let's if we're going to commit to anything, it would only be something like let's give updates as we're going.
Mhm.
So, the second that we see something like it's code complete, maybe that's something that we could do. If we're out of bugs to fix, maybe that's something that we can report on. When we've launched QA testing on one of the final builds or something, maybe we can just update the community on that. If we know what the events are, why don't we just share the updates of what it is that we're doing, and hopefully over the next couple of weeks here we'll be able to say these are the steps that we need to complete. This one's done, here we are, and we can give them like literally a map that shows what we got to do, but just not commit to dates on that, but just commit to like, here's the pieces of the project that are still left to do. Does that seem like a reasonable way to sort of like update this crowd?
Yeah, I mean, again, I spent months saying no dates, no dates, no dates. So it's not like we're date happy all of a sudden. I'm sorry we missed the weekend. We thought we would be able to get it. Bugs are a tricky thing to nail down. So again, apologies.
Well, this feels like a way that we can update them without promising a date. Like we know the steps. It's not like we're like, oh, I don't know how we get to land. We just gotta get there. This thing is like planned out. This is designed. The bugs have been assigned. The people know what they're doing. The QA swarms are happening. Like we have a process for all of this. It's just when you ask the devs what are the blockers, they say time and energy.
Every
it-
time. That's literally all they say is, I just need more time and more energy. And like, so you have to do the Dragon Ball Z where you just give Goku, give Farp and Hardpoint all of your energy and send it to them, please. Spirit Bomb.
we are battling Klendathu for Commander Chaos. So that's all we got to do. So rather than say, hey, I promise you on this date that this will be ready, like let's just really work to get out. Here's a list of things that are still left to do, and here's where we are in that process. And if we could do that a couple times over the next couple weeks, I think everybody will appreciate our pathway to not just Nav's launch, but full game launch. So that's my suggestion.
Thank you everybody for being here. I wouldn't be able to be here without you.
Yeah. All right, guys. We're getting close. And thank you, Weirdbeard, and thank you to that enhancement team. You guys are kicking butt. I think we got some Splinterlands TV to go talk about before we go bring the one and the only Mr. Nate for the creative corner. So there's Mr. Rondon. Ron, what do you want to say about Summer, which I think is coming to a close here pretty soon?
It's over.
Oh, it's already over.
So yeah, actually, this morning we gave away the gold foil kitty. Sean
I saw
NFT.
that.
Sean
Congratulations,
NFT,
Sean.
our old OG. He's been around catching Splinterlands streamers before Splinterlands TV was even a thing. He's an OG of the Twitch scene, and yeah, really happy it went to him. It was really awesome. It's been a great. We've been doing this now since the beginning of June. It's been a kind of a long run. I didn't know. We could have June 1st could have been the day we gave away the gold foil kitty, but it's lasted this long, and it's been a heck of a journey. We gave away almost 5,000 cards during this time.
Wow.
Just in Summoner Summer. That's not including FOMO February, Monster March, Ape in April, Monster Mayhem, and yeah.
Monster, I gotta say, Monster Mayhem was my favorite.
Because you're the one that came up.
Just saying, Ron.
You
Okay.
really never miss a chance to get a dad joke in, do you?
I love my dad jokes. Maybe I'll start doing dad jokes on air. I think the people would appreciate that. Okay, moving away from that. Do you have a clip of the week that you want to share? I know we got shout outs, and I'll do shout outs, but this time I want to go see a clip of the week.
Sure. We got a couple of clips a week. I do want to say though, Summoner Summer is officially over, but we are actually still giving away. I'm going to wait until tomorrow during our maintenance period to actually switch out the accounts and stuff, just to make sure that everything runs smoothly. So there's still plenty of cards, legendary summoners, gold foils, all sorts of like really nice cards up for grabs up until 11 a.m. tomorrow Eastern time, which is about sorry, I had this set up. It's about 14 hours from now is when it's actually going to be officially over. But anyway, so yeah, guys, still plenty of stuff to give away. We are going to be taking a break from the giveaways for a bit. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of streamers giving away stuff, and there's going to be a little bit of a stash that we have for stuff. But for the most part, the promotions are done. But we do have clips of the week. We do have some clips of the week. Oh, now I'm second guessing myself. This first one, I believe, is from Sebastian Techie, and this is one of the just amazing cards that we gave away for Summoner Summer. That was wait, what's going on?
No audio.
Audio. This has been a crazy show.
Oh, There was no audio for that. Yeah, let's do that again. Redo.
There we go. Bruce Grill
You need
is
more
gaming.
DEC, right? For 20 plots. It's 10,000 DEC per land, I guess so. So you need 2 lakh DEC. Ooh, nice. And you got yourself a Max Delvin Dragon Scale. Sheesh. Everyone was expecting for a kitty and you got a Max card. Yay. That's the only common summoner on entire Splinterlands. And you got yourself a Max card, Lockrodon.
You'll be
Feel
working land forever, sir.
yes. Feel free to just talk if you don't hear anything, because then I can hear it.
My audio was broken. What was I supposed to do? I blame the other guys.
Ron, I don't hear anything.
But I'm telling you, my entire audio was broken. So I could talk into the mic, but the mic wasn't working. So you wouldn't have heard it. There was some, I don't know, whatever. Is there another
audio
clip of the
broke at
week?
the same time I messed up the audio?
Potentially, yeah.
Oh,
There's so many clown fights. I don't need all this clown action in chat. It's disturbing.
I like it. Bring on the clown fights.
Ron, is there another clip of the week that you'd like to share?
Of course there is. So this one I think is the first win for Janie Depp. She had an awesome giveaway, and we're gonna run out of these, so I'm gonna savor them while they last. Here we go.
There we go. Bruce Grill is gaming is here. Let us summon that gold foil kitty cutie for you with 3, 2, and 1. Ooh, lots of gold foils. Yasek, ooh, what are you getting? Gold foil kitty, come on. Come on. Oh, it's not a gold foil, but it's a kitty. Not a gold foil, but a kitty. Let's go. Woo-hoo-hoo.
All right. Yeah. So
she's on Twitter too. So you can find her on Splinterlands TV and you can find her on Twitter.
yeah, no, she's killing it on the Twitter game. Some of her posts are my favorites. The giveaways we're doing, it's still happening for another like 14 hours, like I said, and these cards are in there. They're really good cards, and I don't know. It's been pretty awesome. I got to say, I'm a little bit hesitant to let it all go for right now. I mean, obviously we've got more giveaways in the works and more promotions, but we need to take a break and get our bearings, kind of get a plan of action, and do something even more incredible in the future.
All right, let's go do some shout outs. And there's like 30 of these things, which again, it's always amazing me. We've been in a long altcoin bear market, and these are the folks that are like pounding the pavement, constantly in there, doing Splinterlands TV, streaming, hanging out. This is the anchor of our community. So even though sometimes it feels like it's a little repetitive to like bring these people out, I just want to thank them and let them know that we appreciate them engaging. It makes a difference. We see you on Twitch. We see you on Twitter. We see you guys on Facebook, and growing this community, even in the hopefully final stages of crypto winter for altcoins. So anyways, hey, Pero, thank you. Darmore TV, Bruce Gillis Gaming, Heza Carew, Bootops TV. We got Frozen Turadon. We got Kitty, Sip Gazada, Lotnik. Actually, Lotnik has like 6 of these. Lotnik, and Lotnik. I mean, that's like, I don't even know how many hundreds of hours of watching that is, but that guy, just thank you. Jorge 10CB, Jerry M, Larkin. We got Soulbound Cards Are Not Free, Hala Vodka, H. Kinu Vime, Breezin 2000, Mango Mayhem, Ank 12, Supreme Victory, Ank 12 again, a cause. I don't even know how to say that. Kitty, Jobby Saints. We got Demon, Jorge, Boot Tops TV again. D's Nuts, always professional with that
I
one.
skipped
Thank you.
one.
What did I skip? That was just the number.
Yeah. Well, 2H.
2HI74 with
Yeah.
a lot of zeros. Okay. I thought that was part of Jobby Saints, but Demon 19, Jorge 10CB, Boot Tops TV, D's Nuts. We got Woody, we got Brazen Blake, Mr. Asian Heart, Krieger, we got Carl's, Kuroko 1890, Ank 12 again. That's 3 for him. Sip Gazada, Jorge 10CB. I think that's like 4 for them. Soulbound cards are not free. Larkin 36 and Bruce Grillis Gaming. I mean, that's like 30 or 40 of those, and it just means they're watching tons. And my humble thanks go out to you for helping to build and grow and be our community.
Absolutely. Big shout out to you guys.
Ron, anything else from Splinterlands TV?
We got a giant software deployment that happened this week. Hopefully nobody noticed. That's kind of the point of it. And that was it was a really big project. It was months in the works, and it went out and very little problems, and something that's behind us now, and now we've got the building blocks to really quickly develop and deploy stuff, where before it was always a lot of working around and we got to fix this to fix that and stuff. So now we've got a good foundation of just deploying a lot of cool stuff for you guys.
Rock on. All right, Ron, thanks so much. Let's go get Nate on here so we can have ourselves a creative quarter and see what Nate's working on. Because Nate, I know that we have some like things that are coming in for land as the devs are sort of diving into this, and things look broken or the UI needs fixing. Like what's the team up to these days? Is it all land? Are you starting to look beyond 1.5? Where are you guys?
No, that's I think a lot has been said previously to me getting on. What everyone else has said, what the community has observed themselves, and I think what Cryptomancer has so eloquently said during his time streaming, which is that actually reseller. Really, I think while I was reading in the Discord, he really pinpointed, put the nail on the head, which is that everything we're doing is so groundbreaking, and that's as a result. It's hard to kind of like gauge just the sheer magnitude of it all, and I think that's an important thing for the community, for people, for even the team members as they're doing it. Keep in mind that just how groundbreaking it is. I mean, when you really think about it, a lot of people out there, whether you're companies or web developers or whatever, say, "Oh yeah, Web 3. We're doing Web 3." Are you really though? I mean, I in a superficial sense, you could say, "Oh yeah, there's other Web 3 games out there. There's other blockchain games," but really, like if you open up the hood of their car and open up the hood of our car, are you really going to see the same level of blockchain integrations? And I think that's where it spills into, like, this is the first time in the history of the company. Like, there's a lot of first times happening. Cryptomancer pointed out some of you guys pointed out some other, but for me personally, this is literally, I think, the first time where the development took longer than the design. Usually it's like we designed for like 2 weeks on this one thing, this batch of screens. Like it should work like this, and we need to make it look like that. And we would put the pieces together and we get the UI specs over. Here's the margins and the padding and the pixels and the hex values and the colors and the font size. We give them all that stuff, package it up. And usually it's so frustrating because let's say Cryptomancer, the developer, says, "Yeah, thanks for that." And then a few hours later, they're said, "Done. Next, please." And we're like, "Well, crap, it took us 2 weeks to do all that. Why you got to be so fast? Why you slow down a little bit?" Right? This time we're like, we got you aggro. You're saying, "Hey, creative, go. We want this now, that we want to get this in the player's hands. Maybe we don't do the whole thing. Maybe we break it out into pieces, phases, whatever. Let's just get the freaking thing done." And we're like, "Okay, crap, there's a lot going on here." And we went and we did it, and we handed it off to engineering as we're doing it. And wow, they're like, "Whoa, there's a lot going on." And it's because this is not just typical, just web design. This is like blockchain, like serious blockchain development. And so I think that we want to make sure it's working as intended. The sheer amount of NFT blockchain, like as we're working through the design stuff, we'll have Neil or Eduardo or Antioch or Cryptomancer or Hardpoint will come to us and say, hey, we need a little tweak to the UI, or we need some help here, because it's like, this is how the blockchain operations happen. And when you think about that, just that simple phrase, we have to keep in mind the blockchain operations and how they're layered and how they interact with these other blockchain operations. Do you think other gaming studios, do you think other development, so-called Web3 companies are having these discussions, or are they just creating this centralized thing? And at the very beginning or the very end, they briefly touch your MetaMask wallet, or they briefly do this one thing for this one operation, but everything else is like this centralized thing, right? So, I mean, huge kudos to engineering, because I think our engineering department are actually, they're not posers. They're the real deal. We got a team full of rock stars. And it's not just engineering. Heck, I mean, I haven't seen Roy in the town hall at least post before, so it's cool to see him post a little bit ago. But just I mean, having a talented design team who understands blockchain operations and what's going on, and being able to speak intelligently about why things should work the way they do, and be able to have a reasonable conversation with the developer where we can both collaborate. That's not normal either. I mean, I've gone through hundreds of thousands of applications and resumes and interviews trying to find just UX, UI people. It is not that easy. Not when you're talking about gaming, and definitely not when you're talking about blockchain gaming. So the fact that land is becoming a reality, that we're finally giving birth, if you will, like you guys said, to land.
Gotta get the baby out.
No small.
Maybe Pretoria is coming. We got to get her out.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is the stars had to be in alignment, and you had to get just the right people all working at the same time to pull this off. I really don't think people understand, like I said before, the magnitude of it all. I would say, and it's great. It's been a blast. Yeah, we're a little strained, but it's going to be so awesome to cross the finish line. I think not just for the community, but for us as well. I think all together, we're all going to be high-fiving and really excited. I know a lot of the team members are players themselves, so I can't wait personally to go put my battle cards and have them become workers and get them working the plots and all that cool stuff. So we're building a game that we want to play ourselves. So I think that's a big part of what we do.
I appreciate the message. I guess I'm not left with understanding what you're actually building.
So here, let me share something which you've already seen. But basically, I'm a visual guy because I'm creative, and I think a lot of the audience might be creative as well. So this is basically nothing more than just like a I don't know, a flow chart. So that's a flow chart so that you guys know, you could visualize the sheer magnitude of what we're working on. There's nothing there that is new. There's no alpha there, but there's no secrets being told or anything. What you guys are seeing on that chart is basically the things that we have already talked about in previous town halls and what we're working on, everything. But visually, you guys can hopefully wrap your brains around the segments, the parent categories of what land encompasses right now, and the children and the child screens associated to it, all the various actions and blockchain operations that have to occur just for what's shown there. And there's a lot that's not even on that chart. Once you get into the weeds on that stuff, you find out that there's all these little intricacies and nuances and technical challenges and things that, I mean, that flow chart, if we were to really create a realistic flow chart of everything that land is, it would be ginormous. So this is me trying to simplify it, because this is a valuable thing for me to do when we look at the UX of it all. It's like, okay, at a high level view, what are we working on now? And at a high level view, what are we going to try to work on immediately afterwards? So, you see all the blue, that's what we're trying to get finished for you guys right now. And the orange is basically the stuff we're going to try to squeeze in that was on the white paper that's not quite making it in the initial release. And again, Weirdbeard has already talked about what we're trying to do for 1.6, and you have as well. But I thought it'd be useful to have that little visual for people to kind of wrap their heads around, say, oh, okay. And of course, there's some stuff missing from there, stuff that we still have to work through and figure out, whether it's land surfing or quality of life things. I can't wait for this to hit Mav's server, because the results of that, Cryptomancer kind of pointed out how, well, let's get it working as intended first. Once we do that, then the feedback will be so productive for the UX, for the UI, for the engineering, the development, all of it. And when that happens, we can start saying, okay, well, all this feedback we're getting from the community, how much can we just kind of fit in before we go live on production, and how much of it will actually end up in 1.6? You guys get to partner up with us, and let's work together to make 1.6 as amazing as it possibly can. So, yeah, there's a lot there, and a lot of the gold boxes are stuff that creative is already working on. We're not all our focus is on 1.6 yet, because we're still trying to support engineering and making sure just get 1.5 over the finish line. But yes, we are like working through some artwork and some high level UX to figure out, wrap our heads around how some of these gold boxes are going to function, so that by the time the devs are finished with 1.5, we could be like, hey, here's some stuff, go. And then they'll go, and then we'll keep going too. And then it just doesn't stop, right? And so I some people were chatting it up earlier saying, well, Nate better have some sort of eye candy. So I was like, oh no, crap. Let me see what I can find. So I did find something that is related. You might see this artwork in 1.5, but I can't make any guarantees, but definitely in 1.6, because it really it boils down to the totem fragments, combining them. You're going to find this druid out in the Praetorian forest, and he's going to help you to take these fragments and make sense of them, understand the history of them, where they came from, what their purpose is, and then to combine them into an actual full-blown totem. And so here is a preview of what that'll look like in the form of a wallpaper. So, and there he is holding,
pretty badass.
Holding a fully combined totem.
Yeah, that's solid. He's even got like little avatar eyes. He's got his totem, so he's in the avatar state.
There you go.
I dig it. Yeah, he's pretty badass. It's pretty fun. You know, like go look at our alpha cards, and go look at like what we're producing now. And I don't know, that's stellar.
I'm very proud of the art team.
Yeah, do you have any, like, I think you showed before some of the concept art for totems. You want to put any of that down again, just so that people can sort of contextualize what the druid dude, does the druid dude have a name?
So this was shared last town hall. I got to check with Joey and the narrative team. So Joey's probably listening to this. Joey, you and Dan, find a name for the druid guy if you haven't already. The last town hall I was at, I think I shared this, which is the little fragments you might find while you're producing. You might be like digging in the ground, mining for SPS, and then suddenly, what the heck is this thing? And out comes like this little fragment. So here are the different fragment based on rarity. So obviously you could tell common, rare, epic, legendary fragments, little different glimmers of energy in there. And that'll impact, what the totem ends up looking like, which ones you decide to combine.
I want him to be like, there are those that call me Tim.
There you go.
All right. Okay. Anything else that you'd like to share for this evening, Mr. Nate?
No, just that. Thank you guys. I think Weirdbeard already thanked you guys for being understanding about the whole MAV test server stuff. Just understand that now I've seen it. I saw the devs working all freaking weekend long. I will, be talking to people and trying to collaborate at all hours of the day, just trying to get this done for you guys. And for us as well. Like I said, we're players too. We want this as badly as you guys do. So I guess that would be my last thought. It's just thank you guys for being such a great community. Thank you for being so understanding. And, thank you for seeing what we see. I mean, I see the promised land. I see where we're headed. I see it's exciting. It's absolutely just exciting, thrilling to me to be on this adventure. And it is so cool that you guys are so enthusiastic being on the same adventure together. And I could say more so than most companies or out there, like we're truly together, like with the DAO, with SPS, with the governance token, with the proposals, with all of it. We truly are in this together, and that is a cool feeling. It is a true MMO group raid experience. You guys and us doing this thing together. It is like a life raid of some sort. So I'm thrilled. Hope you guys are too.
Rock on, Nate. Thank you so much. Thanks for keeping us in the loop, and looking forward to the kind of 1.6 releases. I know that you and your team are going to have a big impact on that, and other parts of what are coming up for the next age. So excited to see that. Let's go do some questions. So let's bring on the full team. Let's go pop through these. Oh, it looks like a couple of extra questions got added. So first off, so sometimes you guys ask questions and they annoy me. This is one of them, because you like, there's some sass in this question that I could have lived without. So here it is. Why is the most basic component of land usage one would expect, i.e. the grain market, not coming in land 1.5? Now, Weirdbeard, I'll give you a chance to answer that, but if you prefer I answer it, I can.
Because we decided that we wanted to deliver a product of what we were going to do and then have the AMM happen afterwards. Sorry to disappoint.
Yeah, the other thing I'd add is that you can purchase grain from the castles, and you have some starting grain from the starter kits, and you can generate your own grain, and there is a transfer function. So, like, yeah, it's not a full market. That is true and correct, but it's not like you're stranded on an island without any way to get this. So I don't feel that bad about it. It's kind of like a super nice to have, but it's not the very next thing that I think we need to be producing. But that said, I think it's one of the priorities for Land 1.6, and hopefully that's one of the things that comes out quickly. Yeah, and like War Chief Farpatrod is saying, can also auto buy grain to complete your work site in a one-stop purchase. So you're not stuck or inhibited in any way by grain. So we looked at that and said it's a nice to have, not absolutely necessary for 1.5. Is there any incentive to surveying land coming out with 1.5 release? For example, will there be a reintroduction of building in a box at a higher price?
I am here. We're talking about doing a Land 1.5 event. It would be awesome. We will coordinate with Chatter and make something happen, because I anticipate that there will be plenty of excitement to go around the day that Land 1.5 is launched.
Is there a limit on how many research tokens any one account can use? Since they are unsellable, it would make sense that you let us know. I realize it might take a long time to use them all, but all the people planning on hoarding research tokens, it would hurt to find out later that an account only needed X amount of them. Well, some of that is who's ever in the lead has rewards that are associated with it, but also some of that is, we know that this is going to be like a multi-year research thing. It's not, I hope to have some things that are instant or helpful, but that is a multi-year thing that is going to be happening. So, at least in the next age or couple months, you're not going to be able to like overdo it with research. In Land 1.5, are you allowed to use rented cards and delegated cards?
The answer to that is no. That will not be available for the initial release. You have to have, you can only use owned cards initially.
Soulkeep is asking, can you demo Soulkeep and market pack opening for us in its current state? I would say that becomes possible after tomorrow, and we gotta dive in more to see how convenient and easy that is.
Sorry, go ahead.
Which ties into the next question of,
That's
can we get
exactly
an updated roadmap? we need a good deal of investigation into this. So we might find out that it's easy. We might find out that this is brutal, but we need more time to digest what we have and figure out what the best roadmap is. But the planning session is coming up, and that'll be a great time to sort of like nail down the details for that. Hopefully my sound didn't drop again. Okay. Feedback suggestions. Can we have an abstain button in the proposals? Currently, there's no way to integrate a neutral position other than not voting, which can be mistaken as not participating. Let's make an epic for that and put it in the list. Can we have a skip to fatigue button? Maybe only show it after 3 rounds. We can put that on the list. Can we have an in-game notification when the SPS rentals end? We're working on like an entire upgrade system for the notifications and how that might work. So we'll put rentals under the notification box. You're not going to see that one soon because it's now part of like a bigger project. But when it drops, hopefully that is a nice. There'll be a whole nice system for dealing with that. On the challenge screen under the allowed cards option, can we have a more appropriate text than gladiator cards? Some people get confused by the text before they know what it actually means. I guess we should make an epic for that.
Yeah, we can figure it out.
I think there are a lot of things that need to be updated about the challenge screen. So kind of at some point we need to kind of give an overhaul to that whole thing and really think about what kind of options we want available there.
Including adding a modern and wild toggle so you can have it with specific instances on it. But
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's get an epic for it and place it appropriately. After land 1.5, I feel like the devs have a little bit more wiggle room to get their like pet projects done and do the things that they want. Like, getting land 1.5 out is like mission critical. Because I think it's so important for the entire ecosystem. But we want to give that some time to kind of settle and see how it works before we like absolutely dive into our next big one. So we got some backlog to do, some things to fix. We got Soulkeep to roll out, 1.6 to deliver. There's pieces that we got to do, but they're nothing to me is as urgent as getting land 1.5 out. So the devs are going to have a little bit more flexibility with the bugs that you're mentioning, the like quality of life stuff. After I think it's really important to like take a step back after you've delivered like a major project and go back to some of the things that we've really ignored for a bit to try to get this thing out and go back and give some love to other parts of the system that we haven't touched for a bit because land has been all encompassing.
Aggie, how many phone calls have you taken with me where we've spent 45 minutes where this is the thing that I say that I know players are going to love? They want us to go back and give some love to these different things. Like, I know we've had these internal conversations, so I don't think it's a matter of like this is not news to us. It's more just how do you do it? How do you do it while juggling everything else?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what the next age turns into, but my brain is, some of the devs are going to work on land. Some of the devs are going to be working on Soulkeep. Some of the devs are going to be working on, packs and what that's going to look like. And some of the devs are going to be able to go do pet projects and tweaking things in the background. So like this age was really about like, we need to bring everybody together, crank out land. And I think next stage we can have, more smaller projects, And to me, I really like alternating between those where it's like, let's knock out the big thing and put everybody on it. And then let's knock out the little things that, we've been hearing for a while. It's too intense on the devs to just be like big project, big project, big project. And, if you do the small stuff for too long, it gets really tedious and annoying. After a big project, it can be like really relieving because you're not like, I'm 6 months deep in my, thesis defense. It's like a master's degree in computer architecture that these guys have built. So, it's nice to work on some smaller things that are lower stakes. And sometimes it's nice to work on the big stuff that's higher stakes. But it's really about getting in all of those cycles and having a balance so that you don't feel crazy. Can we have the price of energy more in line with the league reward, since it's worth it in some leagues and prohibitive in others? We can certainly look into that to see if we need some tweaking. Can energy be league specific, eventually upgradable if people move up? That's like making an NFT out of energy. So I'm cautious about that, because that makes that system a lot more complicated, and I'm not sure that it drastically improves it. It might just be better to have the pricing be a little bit more in line with like player expectations or reality, so that there's a good bet that is on the table for all the players making that choice. Can we be able to choose what chests we earn up to the league we are in instead of the chests of the current league, as this would remove one of the motivations for one to not go up, which are fewer chests? I don't know about that. That's actually a pretty complicated question. So I'd have to go review a bunch of math, or more importantly, let the design team review a bunch of math to see if, like, you could be earning 100, champion chests, but maybe you want 10,000, bronze chests. There's probably some limitations on that, but something to consider. When will battle fleas only be awarded after both players try to submit their battle? That sounds like one of the bugs or updates that we want to get to after land comes out. And then, can we have a grade 3 level of English version of the terms and conditions so most players can understand it without the need for a lawyer and some imagination?
Unfortunately, no, because it is a legally binding thing. So, like, I wish, but it's not like you join, Apple. You download an Apple product or set one up, and they give you the 3rd grade version. Like, I know it sucks, but it's part of what a TNC is it is very in depth, because it's covering all the different ways that things could be interpreted. Because if it is having to be enforced, has to be legally binding. Sorry.
Okay, so all right. I think we're good on the pre-done questions. So let's go open this up to the community. This is actually the longest in a while. It's 30 full minutes that you guys can go poke and prod and do the thing, but you guys have 30 minutes. So virus starts. Can grain transfer be opened up prior to 1.5 being released to allow for those who did a land survey pool to send out the grain from the starter packages to participants?
I don't think that would be possible, unfortunately, because everything with grain comes in with the update, so we wouldn't be able to just like cleave that off. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess the sooner that you have that planned out, the better. How many people were in your land pool? I'm interested in that. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. When will Matt kindly join us in the town hall? He tries to do it about once a month, so I don't know when his next one is, but I also think he likes to be on the morning ones, so we'll get him here before too long. We are still going to get a land 1.6. Yes, of course, Clay. Sentinel Paul TRX of Bastionfell. I love the of. I probably need to go put my of in there. Now I'm jealous. So when will we be able to find totem fragments in land 1.5?
You should be. At least the UI suggested. We gave engineering all the UI they need so that, yes, you can find them. Whether or not they're able to technically, I don't think there should be a reason why they can't. Cryptomancer, do you know of any reason why they wouldn't be able to find totem fragments?
I'm not currently aware of what the status of totem fragments is. I think that falls under the category of things we'd like to get in, but it could be pushed to 1.6 if we run out of time.
We have confirmation from FARP. You can find them in 1.5.
Oh, we do?
Yeah,
Okay,
you just can't combine them yet until 1.6.
Yeah, small delay on that, but you're gonna the likelihood of you finding totem fragments is at various rates depending on how much you're farming. You're probably not necessarily going to have enough fragments to go do it by the time that 1.6 comes out. And maybe my estimation's wrong, but I think it's going to take you a little bit to get all the pieces that you need to make a full fragment. Mark is asking, GLX airdrop to SBS holders will end in 87 days. Is there going to be an Invenium platform token airdrop soon after GLX airdrop finish? And any update on the 75 million project that will be built on the Arcade Colony? Is the deal still on? So Arcade Colony, it's still there. It's still something that we're working on. Invenium, like Arcade Colony is a version of Invenium, but we're still trying to like crank out not just like the alpha gameplay of the goals game, but really try to get like the full feature set out. So we just haven't prioritized it yet because we got to do more on the game. So I don't have an exact date for you, but I don't. I gotta check in with the platform team before I can say what the next 90 days will be. To get land out, we are pushing back sort of our PI planning so that the planning is not interfering with when the devs are around or when they're like fully booked. So I think we're going to push that back 2 weeks. So by the end of August, I should have a pretty good update of what's in the different project plans for the different teams. Any update on the mini set or quarterly promo? Anything you want to add here, Weirdbeard, at this time?
No.
Okay. So let's get land 1.5 out before we talk about stuff
Anything.
that comes after.
Nothing else.
Can we fix the draw matches? This shouldn't cost energy or break a win streak. Feel like a penalty for getting a draw on a ranked battle. Is that a feature or a bug? What do you think? Is that something that we fix? Is it working as intended?
We can discuss it internally and we can have an answer at a later date.
Okay. Land 1.5. If I clear a plot, would I be able to sell my plot as a clear plot, or will it still need to be cleared again?
I believe that's the thing that I covered earlier, that work sites will transfer with deeds when sold. So that would include a cleared plot when you sell that deed.
Yep. Question for Weirdbeard. The terms and condition question, I think, is in reference to certain things that need to be made clearer, such as no bots in modern and plain English on the battle page as an example.
I mean, I understand that, but once again, nobody on this call has a law degree. Those are the terms and conditions that have been shared with our lawyers, and we will stick to them and enforce those as they stand.
Wait. You don't know if I have a law degree.
True. It could be a lawyer. Wait, a lawyer went into creative work afterwards? I don't think that anybody who would get a law degree would do that.
Virus is saying that his pool has 20 to 30 people. So, I mean, that if each one of those transactions takes you 10 seconds, that's 300 seconds. It means that you're behind on the race by 5 minutes. So I don't feel that bad. Hopefully you guys are able to crank those out quickly, and you should plan for that with the pool, because like the transferring of grain is not something that we can just like comment in or comment out or like hide or put in. So that thing is going live. Question: can you please post tournament events on the same day every week?
I cannot. I wish I would be able to do that. There are complications that make it harder than people would assume to be able to do that. Sorry to disappoint. Cannot do that.
Question. So this is Matt Two Castles Clark, and thank you, Matt, for being here. While we're revisiting challenges, can we make them asymmetric? So challenger sees rule set monocap and submits their team within the time limit, then the challenge is sent. It means streamers can take advantage and talk through their team selection without sniping. Something to put on the list. It's certainly capable to do slightly asymmetric like that, but we have to consider where does that fall in the priority? So we can make a ticket and put it in. I don't know where it's going to fall. That's going to be a discussion for the team. I see some gifts. No Access is asking a question. Is there still anything going on with Warner? It's been a while since we checked in with Warner. We talked some prices and things went a little cold, but I think as things heat up, that things are still on a good term, and we just got to go find a project and a team that's going to make a lot of sense for us. Let's see. I think that's it for questions. So let's give it like another 20 seconds and see if anybody else has a question that they want to get in. But I think we're done early. I think we answered all the questions and we're done early. That's like a once in the blue moon event, which I say knowing that there's a blue moon in August. So we beat the blue moon. I'm fairly caffeinated. Are you thinking dark country, Ron?
I think you should do some dark country tonight.
Yeah, we could do some dark country. Why don't we stop it here? I'll go sign back in 20 minutes and we'll do at least an hour of dark country.
Can we quickly ask before we go? I would love if everybody who is watching either live on Twitch, YouTube, or in the Discord, if they would be able to send positive messages to our team that are working on land and have put in multiple weekends now. I hope that they feel the love and feel supported, because it is very, very important that we treat everybody with kindness and empathy, and telling people that we appreciate them is one of the ways that we can do that.
Yeah. These guys are freaking killing it. You know, there's just like they said, it's a giant project and we're doing everything we can to get this thing out. Is Soulbound card unlocking for land scheduled for 1.6?
I think I'd have to follow up on that one. I'm not sure.
All right. So I think we're going to call it here. Thanks everybody. Send the love to the devs. They certainly deserve it. Thanks to this team. It's freaking, this thing is a beast. We got to get this Praetorian baby out, and I'm excited to get there. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for your excitement. I think land is one of the most exciting pieces that we have ever put out, and I'm so freaking stoked for it. So thanks everybody. We'll be back here next week with a Splinterlands town square, so that if you want to talk to us or talk to the other members, we're here to listen and hear what you guys have to say, and hopefully you can convince your friends of the things that you want. All right, thanks everybody. Appreciate your time, and have a great night. We'll see you in Pretoria soon enough. Bye guys.
Chaos reigns and hope is lost. When your darkest days aren't saved by the dawn, we bring the light to help guide the way. We are with you. We are the Rift Watchers. Spread far and wide. When you're out of places to run and hide, follow the runes. Help is on the way. We stand with you.